Okay, so that basically just simulates a right click wherever the mouse cursor is. So that's a right click, and then that's the same thing with the super key, and it will be wherever the mouse is. And also you can open up the menu here as well with a little Flame Bunsen logo. Okay, what's next? We have super and tab. So is that a client menu? So you can open up, switch between windows. So let's open a couple of things up. Let's open up Funar, and we'll use the Alt F2 one again. And then let's also open up a terminal. Do we have a terminal shortcut anywhere? Yes, so the terminal shortcut is super and T. So that'll open up the terminal for you, which has got a transparent window. And now let's see what the super and tab looks like. There you go, so you get quite a small Windows sort of tab there, and it will open wherever your mouse is, it appears, which is pretty cool. And then you could, oh, that's quite handy as well. So OpenBox by default, at least the last time I used it, it didn't have the sort of window snapping side by side enabled out of the box. So they've probably set that in the not the auto start, in the OpenBox. I think it uses an RC for its config. We'll have a look. It's been a while since I've used OpenBox properly. So that was the super and tab. Terminal we've checked out. Web browser, of course, is Firefox. We've already checked that one out. We have the files manager, which is Funar. Let's just make sure that shortcut key is working. So the editor, what is the editor? Okay, so the editor is Genie. I've not used Genie too much, so I'm not too well versed in how this all works, to be fair. But for those wondering, it's a version 1.33. Let's keep moving. Media player, so I wonder what their default media player is, and that is Super and M. Nice, okay, cool. So the default media player is VLC, which has no complaints from me. It's my favourite media player. Volume control is Super V. That's a strange, I guess V for volume. Okay, it makes sense. Okay, that appears to be opening the GUI sort of thing for Pulse Audio, I do believe. We'll have a look at all of the applications as well to make sure that that is what I think it is. Task Manager. So what is our Task Manager? Nice. So the default Task Manager is HTOP, and you have a nice little Super and H shortcut to jump straight into that. And as you can see, we're using 1 gig, and of course we've got nothing in our swap file as swap partition at the moment. We will test out hibernation towards the end. So if we press Q, that should just jump straight out of it. Very nice. Lock screen, let's see what the lock screen's like. So Super and L. Okay, so it's just blanked the screen out. I'm going to imagine it's going to load the lock screen in a minute. Any second now. Do we have a lock screen? Aha, there we go. So here's the lock screen, and of course we can just type back our password to jump straight back into it. Okay, and we have a logout. Let's see what the logout is like. I tell you what, let's press this button here and to show the sort of logout and shutdown buttons there. So you have your logout, lock screen, suspend, and power off, as well as reboot. And we also have the screenshot. Let's make sure that works. So print screen. There we go. Is that GNOME screenshot? That might just be GNOME screenshot. I could be wrong though. It looks like it. Perhaps it's not. Let's save that anywhere. Okay, so that's all of the screen sort of keys that are on there. Do we have any keys for moving windows to different workspaces and switching workspaces? So we can drag a window to the edge of our screen to change it to a different workspace. And how can we switch workspaces? Let me just try a couple of things. Okay, cool. So Alt and F1 and F2 appears to be tied to the screen workspace switching, so that's all well and good. Right, let's have a little look around then. So of course you have the Tint 2 panel at the bottom. You have your sort of log out and shutdown button there. You have a clock with your calendar to pop up. You have your current connection, which we are on Ethernet. You then have the power icon that looks like XFCE Power Manager. It is indeed, so we're going to just disable display management for the moment. And then we have a clipboard there, I do believe. Yep, so that appears to just be a nice little clipboard. Let's press clock again. And then we also have our volume rocker there and slider to control volume. So I wonder if the shortcut keys for the actual volume control works. There we go, so that all works out of the box. You get a nice little red border, and then when you go over it, it turns to white. So when it's sort of focused, it's white, and then inactive, it's red. That's quite a nice little colour scheme as well. Okay, so let's see what this thing actually comes installed with. So we have quick launchers there for web browser, file manager, text editor, and media player, which of course was Firefox, Funar, was it Genie? Yep, Genie. And then obviously the media player is VLC. Okay, so in our accessories we have XF Burn, Funar File Manager, Nitrogen. So Nitrogen is where you're going to control your sort of wallpapers and set them to, there'll be like a, in the auto start somewhere, there'll be like a nitrogen restore or something. So we have we have a couple of little defaults here. Let's try it with this one. Okay, that's not too bad. And let's see one more. We have BL Networks. Okay, I quite like that as well. We might leave it on that for the rest of this video. Right, so I think that's all I really want to look at in accessories. Let's just double check. So it has Compton as well for your screen compositor. You have Clip It, which I think is that little clipboard that we saw at the bottom right there. You've got LibreOffice, Vim. Okay, Vim's not opening up anything. Let's see if Vim's actually installed. It's not. So we're going to install Vim. In fact, I won't. Yeah, I will install Vim now. Because we do want to get a RAM reading at boot, but Vim won't really affect that too much, to be fair. Let's keep it moving. Also, your running applications will be in your tint panel here. And obviously you can click it and then click it again to restore it. And I think a right click will close that running window. Right, let's see what else we have got. So we're going to go into development now. We have Genie, BLCLI editor and text editor. And then we have the icon browser. What's the text editor? There we go. Again, it's just Genie. So they've got some different Windows title names in the actual applications menu here. For graphics, we have Ristretto, the image viewer, which is a fairly decent little image viewer there. Quite light. Multimedia, we have XF Burn, VLC media player, pulse volume audio control. So that is what we saw when we press Super and V on the keyboard shortcuts there. I don't need to keep clicking down there, do I? I keep forgetting we're on OpenBox. Okay. So we also have BL Media Player. Okay, so again, that's just VLC. So we have a couple of duplicate entries there. I'm not sure that's quite necessary, to be honest. Okay, internet. It comes installed with FileZilla out of the box, which is pretty handy for those that have sort of web spaces and use the FTP or SFTP sort of stuff. That's pretty good. Let's keep going. So obviously your default web browser is Firefox. You also have HexChat, Mail Reader. I don't know if there is a mail client. Okay, so if you installed a mail client, you could then sort of set it in the preferred applications, and that appears to be from XFCE, though I could be wrong. Let's keep going. I think that's what I really want to look at there. And of course you have transmission to manage your clients. You then have LibreOffice. You don't appear to have the full suite. You have LibreOffice Calc and LibreOffice Writer. However, I only really use LibreOffice Writer these days. So let's see what version we have got on here. It will be quite an old version because of course we're using Debian. Yeah, so it's version 6.1.52. I think the current versions are on like the 6.4 version number, and I think there's like a 7.0 release candidate floating around at the moment. I could be wrong though. Okay, in settings we have the panel manager, which will just be your Tint2 panel themes, where you can change the look and feel of your Tint2 panel. Quite a few sort of pre-configured ones there, but we're going to leave it as the default. Let's keep moving. You also have Synaptic Package Manager, so let's see how much packages are actually installed on this OpenBox install. Close. So we have 1,217 packages installed. I think the only additional thing we have installed so far is Vim. So let's keep going. We have the Power Manager, which is the one from XFCE. A&R is what we use to set the screen layout, to get that nice little mirror that we are currently using. We also have OpenBox Configuration Manager, so here's where you can set like the OpenBox theme, appearance, window size, etc. And what else have we got in settings? Customize look and feel. So what is the customized look and feel on here? It's either going to be the XFCE appearance or LX appearance. I think that's LX appearance, but let me just double check. Oh, wrong one. That was opening up the volume. LX appearance. It is indeed. So it's using LX appearance to change the Windows theming as well. So it's got quite a few. The default one is BL Lithium. You also have the light theme there. Let's leave it on the default though. And you have a few more like Yeti, Rayleigh, Rainforest. What's Rainforest? Oh, very green. I don't actually mind that though. It's like a washed out green. And then in the icon theming, as it said in the release notes, it's now using the papyrus with the coloured stuff there, and it also has gnome, e-papyrus and add water. What else have we got? So that's mainly what we want to look at in settings, I do believe. Alternatives configurator, so you can configure alternatives in here as well, and you've got a list of quite a few packages there. Okay, so I think that's the whole settings part done. So in system, of course, you have your tint 2 panel, which we have got at the bottom. Your terminal is the LX terminal, has gparted out of the box. It also has GDebi, the package installer, so you can install your .deb packages with this little GUI here fairly easily. I don't know why that's now displayed a battery low icon. We don't actually have a battery, we're on a desktop, so that's rather strange. And it appeared, at least when I noticed it, was when we opened up GDebi. Kind of strange. Okay, let's keep moving. So I think that's mainly all we want to look at for the packages. So I haven't used OpenBox properly in a while, so what we're going to do is have a look at the configuration file. Again, I think it's like an RC XML, so we're going to go into our home folder, and of course the files manager is super and F for file. So we're going to show our hidden files here, and is it in config or OpenBox something? Okay, I'm going to guess it's in config. We appear to have single click, so you might want to change that if you're anything like me. So have your conky folder here as well. And then hovering over will just select that window, that folder for you. Okay, OpenBox. So we have the auto start, we have the blmenu.xml if you want to edit the menu, and then we have the XML. So I think this is where all of the sort of key bindings, etc. is set. Yeah. So if you wanted to change any of the key bindings and stuff like that, you could do it in this file here. Okay, looking very good so far. Right, what we're going to do is test out the hibernation now. So we're going to open up a couple of programs. Let's open up Firefox web browser. Of course, I could have just clicked web browser and it would have been right there. And we're going to go to our terminal now and type in systemctl hibernate. I keep pressing super and V. I don't know why I'm doing that. Does Alt F4 shut a window? It does indeed. Okay, so we're going to go systemctl hibernate. Right, it will take a little second and you won't actually notice anything on the screen that you're looking at. It will just freeze that image. Okay, so it appears to be winding down now. My computer seems to be taking quite a long amount of time to actually sort of activate hibernation at the moment. I noticed it the other day when we done the Gecko Linux run through as well. So my fans are still spinning, so hopefully they'll sort of wind down and then we'll be able to just mash enter to get the computer back on, and then all of those programs that you can currently see on the window there should still be there after a reboot. Okay, so the computer's finally turned off, so what we're going to do now is mash enter and hopefully it will boot up. We'll have to go through the boot screen for the grub, but we can use that sort of opportunity to have a look at how they've set up the grub screen and see if it's picked up all of the operating systems that are currently installed on this computer, and then hopefully the hibernation has worked and all of those programs that we had running will still be there. And there is the Bunsen Labs grub screen. It hasn't picked up everything by the looks of it, but most of it is there. Also, we didn't apply and save the screen layout, but because we're resuming from hibernate, if it's all worked correctly, the screen mirror should still be active. Okay, we are back in business. Let me just type in the password there. Perfect. So the hibernation does work. It just seems to take quite a while these days. Right, what we're going to do now is do a reboot, check out the RAM and see how much this uses at boot. And then we're also going to install XFCE and just see how that sets it up. I'm going to imagine it's just the default setup, but I want to see how easy it is to switch in between the two. So we're now just going to reboot and we'll be back in just a moment. Okay, so we're back in business. We're using between sort of 500 and 600 megabytes, which isn't too bad. It's a little bit higher than I thought it might have been, but it's nothing too crazy. We did forget to actually set the screen mirror. So what we're going to do is just quickly jump into the AR&R settings and then just quickly set up a screen mirror. And then what we're going to do is install XFCE and just very quickly jump into that using the login screen to see how easy it switches over, because like it says in the release notes, they do coexist quite peacefully together. And then we're going to wrap it up there. The screen should be mirrored in just a second. Boom, there we go. Always does that when we do a mirror. It chucks that window all the way over there. Okay, let's install XFCE. What is the terminal? Super T. Right, that will install XFCE for us. I don't think it's going to have a whole load of packages to actually grab though, because we've got quite a few of the sort of XFCE stuff like Power Manager and a few of the settings there. So what have we got? Yeah, it's only actually going to use an additional 43.5 megabytes of disk space, so that's really not a lot at all. So we're almost finished that completely, so that was a very quick install of XFCE. We'll also see how much RAM XFCE uses, and we'll compare that to the actual default open box. So now what we're going to do is log out using this one here. Okay, so I'm going to try and show you it on this screen. So if we press this little Bunsen there, we should have the XFCE session right there, and then we could log in now, and we'll be greeted with like the default XFCE stuff, and it will ask us for like panel and stuff like that. So you can't see that at the moment, but there we go. It's asking. We're going to go for the default, and then what I'm going to quickly do is set up a screen mirror on here. I'm going to imagine we have the XFCE display settings now. So if we go onto display, we are going to mirror displays, click apply, and then you should be with us in just a second. There we go. So it shouldn't have installed too much additional stuff really, because they use quite a lot of the same packages. Obviously certain stuff like, you know, XFCE settings that aren't present there will be installed, but other than that it doesn't appear to have bloated it out too much. What I'm going to do is do a reboot, get a RAM reading on XFCE as well, and then we're going to wrap it up there. But so far so good. I'm actually quite enjoying this latest release of Bunsen Labs. Okay, we're back in business. Yeah, XFCE is pretty much the same, so that's now using 512ish megabytes. So I guess that's going to be the happy medium that you're always going to get between 500 and 600 megabytes, regardless of whether you're using the OpenBox default or if you've also installed XFCE as well. Thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please subscribe. Also join the Discord, there's a link in the description. See you on the next one. Bye bye. Okay, welcome to another video. Today we're going to check out Mabox Linux, which is a Manjaro based Linux distribution which uses OpenBox Windows Manager. So it's inspired by Crunchbang, and it uses some Bunsen Lab utilities which have been adopted for Manjaro. So I've never actually heard of Mabox Linux until someone in my Bunsen Labs video recommended it in the comments. So I downloaded the ISO, which is 1.6 GB in size. I then went to see if it's got a page on DistroWatch. It's currently in the evaluation stage on DistroWatch, so if it gets enough recommendations for it to be evaluated, it will be on their page ranking system. So what we're going to do now is jump into the installer, which is Calamares version 3.2.20-1. So it's picked up the correct language, which is British English. So once that module loads, we can go forward. There we go. Right, so we're not New York, we're right about there. Perfect. English UK, that's correct. Keyboard layout is fine. Okay, so I'm actually going to install on a USB SSD the Samsung Portable SSD T3. However, some Linux distributions in the installer, it fails creating the partition. So what might happen is we'll erase the disk and hopefully it will work, but it could potentially fail when it actually comes to creating the partitions. If that happens, we're going to go into fdisk and create the partitions ourselves manually and then restart the installer. Fingers crossed we don't need to do that though. So let's go to next, type in our user account. Let's call this one Tyler Boxy. And we are going to use the same password for the administrator, and we're going to log in automatically. Okay, let's go for install. Install now. Right, cross our fingers. Okay, cool. So it has crashed. So it's dev SDA that we need to create some partitions on. So what we're going to do is jump into a terminal. Let's drag that up there. So the terminal appears to be Terminator, and we're going to use fdisk now to create the partitions. So that is dev SDA. So we're going to go sudo fdisk dev/sda, and now we're just going to destroy anything that's already there. So we're going to press D, nothing's there. So we're going to do a nice simple layout. We're going to do two partitions, one EFI and one root, and that's all we're going to do. So we're going to go for N, which is new, enter, plus 300 MIB, that's going to be for our EFI partition, and we're going to remove the signature that's already on there. Okay, that one's done, and now we're going to go N again, and we're just going to enter all the way through it now, because we're going to use the remaining space for that partition. Now we're going to go W. Right, now what we need to do is actually just make those file systems. So we're going to go make fs.fat-f32 dev/sda1. So that is for the EFI partition there, fat32. Make, oh, we've put a T there that doesn't need to be there. Make fs.fat, there we go. Now we're going to do the same for dev/sda, but we're going to make that ext4. ext4, bang. Okay, so now we're just going to do an lsblk to make sure that has made the partitions correctly. dev/sda, here we are. So we have 2 partitions there, and that's what we're going to use now to create our Linux distribution on. So let's get out of that and restart this installer. Now that should work. I've had this happen in the past with different distributions on this SSD, and hopefully that has remedied it and we can get ahead with this installer now. So we're going to let that load the module for the last time. Any second now. Bang. Right, let's go to next. Jump back there like we was in the beginning. Yep. Right, so we're going to go for a manual partitioning on this one here, and we're just going to set it up properly. Right, so we're going to delete this FAT32 and then recreate it in here. So let's go to delete, go to new or create, and we want FAT32, mount point, boot EFI, and we're going to chuck the boot flag there. And then this is going to be formatted, and we're going to chuck that on root, and hopefully that will work and won't make me look stupid. Right, Tyler, Boxy. Again, we're going to use the same for the administrator and log in automatically, and we're going to go for install. Okay, let's see how we go. Brilliant, so it's making that now. I'm going to pause the video here. The time is currently 11:04, so we're going to see how long it takes to install. Okay, so the installation has completed at about 11:09, so you're looking at about a 5-minute install on a SSD. Do get quite good speeds on that Samsung SSD, so I'm not too worried about that. So what we're going to do now is pause the video, reboot. I'm going to set up a screen mirror, and then we're going to jump into it and take a little look around. Okay, so we've just booted into our freshly installed Mabox OpenBox desktop. So we've got a little welcome screen here. Mabox 20.02 Calanthe. Welcome Tyler, thank you for choosing Mabox Linux. We hope that you enjoy using Mabox as much as we enjoy building it. The links below will help you get started with your new operating system. So we've got update system, add kernel, install popular apps, and we've got some resources for quick guide, website, forum, and then we've got some development and donate buttons there. So we might go through that in a moment. But first of all, I just want to take a little look around. So it's quite an interesting setup, to be fair. I quite like the way it looks. So we've got a couple of conkeys on the bottom left and the top right. We have a panel at the top here, which I'm going to assume is Tint 2. Let's just go into the applications, accessories. It's not there. Is it in settings? There we go. So this is the Tint 2 panel. And I actually quite like it. So you've got sort of a transparency element in the middle there. And then you have desktop switches there. 2, 3, 4. So where's 1? Okay, so 1 is at the start of your sort of task list there. You then have your clock, and you also have PAMAC. No, that's the Ethernet. PAMAC is there. There we go. Then we have our sound there, a little volume slider. And what's this one here? Let's get out of that. Okay, so that's our power management settings, and it's using the XFCE Power Manager. Nice. Okay, so let's see what these shortcuts are on the bottom left of this screen here. So run is the super Windows key. Let's press that. Okay, so that's like a right click, I'm going to imagine. Yep, so that's the right click. And it has a little search box up the top. So let's say, what's the files manager? If we type in file, and then we'd open that. Okay, so that's PCman FM, I do believe. There we go. So we've got PCman FM as our default files manager there. And then what are the other keys? So we have super and F. So we can just open the files manager like so, just super and F. Menu, super and spacebar. Okay, that is what we just opened, wasn't it? Super plus spacebar. Okay, not to worry. And then we have run, which is super and M/Alt F2. So let's try that. Super and M. Nice, you get a little D run here where you can launch programs from as well. Let's test that out with a program like Genie. Bang. Perfect. And what else do we have down at the bottom left here? So we can get into the terminal with Super and T, which is Terminator. And can we do it with Control Alt T as well? We can indeed. So it'll open them up in a task list like that, side by side. And you can minimize it. Nice. Working all good so far. So what else do we have? We have volume control, which is Super and V. Is it Pulse Audio? Is that Pulse? I think that might be Pulse. Let's have a look. So what was run again? Super and M. Yeah, so it's got Pulse Audio, volume control. Let's see what else we got. So we can toggle the compositor. We won't bother toggling that though. We'll leave it as is. So we can jump to the lock screen with Super and L. Bang. Can we get out of that? Okay, I'm not getting a box for the login. How do we get back into it? There we go. So we just type in the password like that and hit enter. Quite cool actually. I quite like the look of that. So let's test that out once more. Right, so we're in our lock screen. If we type in our password, mash enter, bang, and we're in. Okay, I'm quite a fan of that. So that's the lock screen. We can then use X kill, which is Super and K. Exit is Super and X. Side panels. So side panels. So places left is Control and Tab. Huh, okay, this is interesting. So what do we have here? Some quick navigation for home folders and stuff like that. So we could jump into the folders by just going Open Files Manager there. Okay, that's pretty cool. So I guess that's what this arrow does. Yes, it is. Okay, and we have a little file system search there as well. Nice, I like that. So then the panel to the right is Super and Tab. Okay, so we have another search box up the top there. Then we have System Update. So we've got the software management there. Settings. Okay, I quite like this sort of interface to the right and the left. I think that's pretty cool with these side panels here. So then we can make them larger and smaller. So we are currently on, does it tell us what we're currently on? Let's go to normal. So that's normal. Let's try tiny. Okay, that's very tiny. And let's go to small then. Nice, I really like this idea actually. Let's go back to normal. Brilliant, that's pretty cool. Okay, what else have we got? So we've got Windows, close, yeah, that's fine. Show desktop. Okay, desktop switching is Super and then the F1 function key to 4. So let's go to F2, 3, 4, back to 1. Okay, that's not too bad. I'd probably change that personally. That's a bit of a tricky one for me to get with my thumb and my fingers there. Nice, and then the conky at the top is just system information, date of time, CPU usage and RAM. So let's see what applications this thing comes installed with them. So we have the terminal, which we already know is Terminator. Internet browser is Firefox. Files manager is PCman FM, and then we can expose all of the applications by going into here. So it uses Quantum Theming Manager as well. Okay, so what is the currently configured theme? Let's go to change delete theme. So it's the default Quantum. Okay. Oh, wrong one. Let's keep moving. So that's accessories. Oh, it uses nitrogen as well to set your wallpapers. Let's see what other wallpapers it comes installed with out of the box. A fair few to be fair. I actually use this one on one of my own computers. I quite like this wallpaper. Nice, not bad. Getting a bit of a green line down here. I think that's... Oh, and then if we do that, we then show our CPU cores and sort of get a little system monitor going. Okay, I really do quite like the interface of this so far. Right, let's go back to the default wallpaper that we had it on. What was it? Oh god, got to try and remember now. It was like a greeny, bluey thing, wasn't it? Was it this? Potentially. Okay, we'll leave it at that for now anyway. Okay, cool. So it uses nitrogen for the wallpaper settings. Graphics, we have View Noir. Internet, we have a web browser. That's just an FXCE link that you get. Modem Manager GUI. Mail reader. Do we have a mail reader installed out of the box? We don't. So there's no email client. So you might want to install an email client if you like desktop email clients. So in Office now, nothing really in there apart from QPDF View. Programming, you've got Genie. Sound and video now, we have Dead Beef audio player. I've not actually used that before. MPV media player. Okay. Pulse Audio, QT. Alright, not too bad. You've got a volume icon there as well. So in System Tools, it comes installed with Gparted out of the box. Terminator, like we did say, is our terminal. And now in Preferences is where you can set a lot of the stuff up. So we have Software Update, Qt5 Settings, Panel Manager, which will jump you into the Tint 2 panel themes. And here's all the current themes that they have ready to go. They've just disappeared on us. So this is the layout that we've got at the moment, and we can move things around. But let's leave it like that. I do quite like that layout. So here's our themes now. Let's have a look at some of these default themes that we've got. Okay, fair few themes. So in the installer, one of the messages was a sort of program to change the look and feel. So let's go into my box control center. So here is a little control center, so we can go into A&R here, which is where we set up our screen mirror. We have info for NeoFetch. Let's jump into NeoFetch. Oh, I like the icon in NeoFetch as well. Nice. So package wise, we've only got 909 packages. So that's pretty good. It's quite light from what I can tell. The Windows Manager theme is my box Superdesk. Icons are Vertex Maya. And of course the Windows Manager is OpenBox. Okay, so what can we do in here then? Let's jump straight into software. So we can install popular applications, preferred applications, add and remove, and do software update. We'll do an update in a moment. So here we can do our auto start. That's pretty handy. Okay, look and feel. So what have we got here? So customize look and feel. Let's try this. Is this just going to open the theming? Yes, that'll open up the theming. There's quite a lot of themes there ready for you to actually use, to be fair. Oh, it's even got my favourite theme there, which is Arc Dark. Nice. So I think that is LX Appearance from what I can tell. Icons wise, even comes with Arc Icons as well. Okay, I quite like the sort of choice of themes and icons that are installed out of the box. So we've checked out the wallpaper. OpenBox Configuration Manager, which is where you can change the sort of things for OpenBox, like the theme and etc. Do we have the OpenBox Arc controls on here? We do indeed. Nice. Okay, we'll check that out in a moment. I want to find the program to actually change the look and feel. So what's themes? There we go, my box theme manager. Let's have a look at this. So it comes installed with a few themes here. So we've got Bunsen, Chicago, Dark Mayo, my box Quake World, and Rainforest. We're currently on Superdesk. Let's try some of these out then. Right, so it's going to restoring config saved as collection name Bunsen, and that's going to change the GTK theme. It's going to do something with Conky and the Tint 2 panel. Let's have a look then. Okay, so we get a full panel now with no transparency or stuff in the middle, and then we get quite a light dark greyish theme. I don't mind that either, to be fair. Nice. And the theming, I do believe that is Numix now. So let's jump into the appearance package and see what that's actually done for our theming. So where's look and feel gone? Look and feel, look and feel. I'm just being a little bit blind at the moment. Customize look and feel. There we go. So the theming for the widgets now is Bunsen HE, and the icon theme is Gnome Carbonite. Okay, I'm not actually too aware of this theme, to be honest with you. Nice. Quite like the greys there for the folder icon and stuff like that. Right, let's try a different theme now. So it's now X'd out everything that we're not using and giving us a little tick on the ones that we are. So let's check out Chicago 95. So I'm going to guess this is like Windows 95 aesthetic inspired. There we go. So it's moved our panel to the bottom. Wow, this is pretty retro looking, isn't it? So we still have the side panels there. You've got a little penguin at the left, the bottom of the left panel there. Nice. I actually quite like this so far. Okay, we're not going to leave it on Chicago 95 though. So let's check out Dark Maya. Let's install that one. Click OK. Okay, it's not changed the theming on there. Wow. Okay, so that's now moved our panel to the left, and then our right and left panel toggles are at the top, just above the main menu button. And then we get some quite large buttons there, so it's a bit like a sort of MXE Linux kind of layout like that. Oh, okay, and then it gives you a red sort of focus when you're going over the icons. Nice, like that. Right, so I think we're nearing the end of these ones now, so we've got to check out Quake World and then Rainforest. Let's have a look. Okay. Whew, that's nice as well. I really do like the theming on these themes that they've included. So we've got a battery low icon for some strange reason. So now we've got a shorter panel sort of centered in the middle. Again, you've got your left and right panels there that look pretty nice there with sort of a brownish transparency color. I think that's what that is. And again, it's going to keep your first workspace in front of your task list. Okay, no, I'm really liking this so far. Let's check out Rainforest. Okay, so it's changed the icon color, the text color for these widgets to green, and then the actual widget, the application windows have got sort of a pale green to them as well. And now again, we've got a bottom panel layout. So the system tray is quite a sort of a bright and vibrant green, and the rest of that is, don't know what color you would call that. Interesting. And then your right click has also got a nice green hue to it as well. Okay, I really like this so far. Right, let's jump back into the default and then let's change the theming ourselves with the look and feel. So let's reapply this one. Click OK. Okay, that's that done. And again, we can just pop open that, which will show us our system monitor. Okay, this is a pretty handy little configuration for OpenBox, to be honest with you. All right, let's get out of that. Do we have Windows side-by-side snapping? No, so that's just going to move it across different workspaces. But we do have it assigned to super and left if you want to split Windows left and right. Nice. Right, let's jump into LX appearance. So what was our run command? It was super and M. LX appearance. It's not LX appearance. Or is it? Let me just have a look at that. It is LX appearance. Okay. Let's get out of that and let's open it again with super and M. So let's just type in look. Custom. Okay, it's not doing that for us. What about theme? No. Okay, we'll just we'll jump into the menu and do it. So preferences, customize look and feel. Right, so let's get some arc theming going and see how that looks with this. So we're going to go for arc dark. Click apply. Icon theme. Let's change that to arc as well. Nice. Right, now what we're going to do is open up the OpenBox configuration. So I'm going to imagine that's also in, or is it in here somewhere? Look and feel. No, that's what we were just on. Let's go back into this applications and into the preferences and see if we can find the OpenBox configuration. OpenBox configuration, there we go. Okay, so let's change the look and feel of the theme to arc, and then we can get a nice uniform look across the whole of the desktop. So there's arc dark. Brilliant. Right, let's open a few things now and see how it all ties things together. So in applications now, let's open up Firefox. Okay, let's open up, let's see what PC Man FM looks like. So let's go to our files manager now. Okay, that's not quite dark, is it? Is it because it's Qt5? Hold on a minute. Do we have Qt5 settings? We do here. So style GTK, so we could go through that and get it to look properly if we had the time and we could be bothered. Let's just go into Covantum as well a moment. Let's go back into system preferences. Is Covantum in here? No, I'll tell you what, let's use super and M. Covantum manager. And now let's go to change delete theme, and we're going to see if we've got KV arc on here. We do indeed. So now let's use this theme. Okay, so that's the KV arc light. Let's use that theme. Quit. And let's see if Files Manager looks a bit normal now. No, so we'd have to mess around with Qt5 settings to get that to look properly with the Arc Dark theme. But no, I really like this so far. Right, so we didn't have any email clients or anything like that, did we? Let's see what HTOP says at the moment. Oh, it's got a bit of a weird layout for HTOP there. So we're currently using 1.10 GB, and does that match up with what our widget says? Not too sure about that. Right, what we're going to do is do a reboot, get a RAM reading, and then we're going to do an update, and then we're just going to wrap it up there, and we might try a couple of other programs, but so far I'm actually really quite enjoying this, to be honest with you. Okay, so RAM wise, we're sitting at about just under 600, so we're on 583 megabytes. That's not too bad. We've got a little red icon there, so we better do a little update, but we're going to use their welcome screen to go through that. Why can't we find their welcome screen? So it's called hello on Manjaro, it's not called hello on here. Okay, let's jump through it and see if we can find their welcome screen. Is it in accessories, preferences? I'll tell you what, we'll do it with the control center. Here we go. So let's jump into software, and we're going to go to software update. So that's going to open up PAMAC Manager, and let's just have a little scroll through of what it's actually going to update. So it's got quite a bit to update there. Did I see JG menu as well? I did indeed. Okay, let's apply that update. Right, so it's quite a bit to get. It's going to remove some stuff as well, and it's going to install a load of stuff. Okay, let's click apply. Right, we're going to let that run through. I might pause the video here and then we'll come back to it once this update has finished. Okay, so that update failed when we was using the PAMAC GUI manager, so I think there's some conflicting files. So we're going to do it in the terminal now, and we're just going to see what is actually in conflict. Right, so replace bind tools with extra bind. Yeah, why not? Yeah. Right, so we've got some conflicting packages here. So it's got exorg font alias 100 dpi. So I'll tell you what, we're just going to go Y as well, and then hopefully this update will work. So we're going to let that run through and see how we go. But I thought I will mention that reboot that we did to get a little RAM reading has applied all of the theming correctly. So now we have a nice uniform look across the whole of the desktop with the ARC theme. So I'm really happy with this, to be honest with you. I think I might even go so far as to say I prefer this to Manjaro's own community edition of OpenBox. I think this is a really unique and interesting setup of what they've done there. I especially like that you can just scroll there and get a little reading of a system monitor. I very much like these side panels here. And I like the way they've set it up with drun as well to get to your applications. And I even like the right click there with the little search at the top. In fact, there's not a lot I don't like, to be honest with you. We might just have to play around with this a bit more off camera and see what else we can do with it. So it appears that the update is working absolutely fine. So we were just getting some conflicted packages there. Did I just see snapd? Okay, so it has snaps installed out of the box as well. I think Manjaro does now as well, doesn't it? And we haven't checked out the Alt-Tab switcher. Okay, so it just uses the sort of lined Alt-Tab switcher that you'll see in other desktops. And it sort of darkens out the applications that are unfocused. So our focus window is currently normal. If we go into there, it'll then lighten it up, and then that is back into unfocused view. Nice, I really like it. Okay, so it appears this update has run absolutely fine, so I'm going to end the video there, but thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please subscribe and join the Discord. There's a link in the description. See you on the next one. Bye bye. Okay, welcome to another video. I'm really quite excited about this one. I'm not too sure how this distribution has flown under my radar. I'm usually quite on the ball with these sort of things, but today we're taking a look at Instant OS, which is an Arch-based Linux distribution, currently in beta. So we've gone ahead and downloaded beta 4. So this uses its own Windows manager called Instant Windows Manager. I think a lot of it was originally forked from Suckless. However, according to the website, only 40% of Suckless code remains. So we're in the live ISO right now. The ISO was about 1.3 GB in size, and it also has its own installer, and from the pictures that I've looked at, it looks quite intriguing. So we're going to go ahead and install. Okay, beginning installation, preparing installation. Also, it's a very nice look, isn't it? Out of the box, it's got quite a nice look for a tiling Windows manager. Okay, it just came up with downloading installer dependencies, and now we've got welcome to the Instant OS installer, next or cancel. We're going to go for next. Okay, so it's given us a new screen there with a wallpaper that looks to be like the world map, because I can see Australia there in some weird kind of abstracty colours. So we're in the select keyboard layout. We can also search. I do believe we've got a cursor there, so let's type in GB. No. UK. No. What's going on here then? Other. Let's have a look at other. Let's try GB again. Perfect. So we're going to go for GB, which is Great Britain. Select language. We're going to go for English. Choose a mirror. So we're going to want to use United Kingdom. So choose mirror settings. Manually, you can sort the mirrors, but this may take a long time. You can use Arch's ranking score, which is recommended, so we're going to go ahead and do that. Okay, so now we're going to select a region. Again, I'm just going to type the first couple of letters. I really quite like this installer. It's quite quick, isn't it? Just sort of searching and hitting enter. Right, so this is the selected disk. So we're going to hit enter on this one here, which is dev SDA. Okay, it doesn't give us any other options to sort of change the partitions at all. It's just going to delete everything on that disk. So we're going to go yes. Right, username time. Tyler. Password. Confirm. Yep. Name PC. So we're going to call this Tyler Instant. So edit advanced settings. Use only if you know what you're doing. We're going to go no, not because we don't know what we're doing, but we're going to stay with the default settings as they are intended. So we're going to go no. Right, so we get an installation summary here. So username's correct, locale is all good, region's all good, city's all good. Keyboard layout does say other, but we did select GB, so that should be totally fine. Target install drive dev SDA, hostname Tyler Instant. Should we proceed? Yes. So the installation will now begin. This could take a while, so keep the machine powered on and connected to the internet. After installation, the machine will automatically reboot. Okay, so judging by that, we don't actually get a dialogue to tell us when it's rebooting or when the installation is actually finished. So we're going to start the stopwatch as soon as I click OK. That way I can give us a good sort of idea of how long it takes to install on this machine. Let me just get my stopwatch ready. Okay, so let's click OK, and I'm starting the stopwatch now. So we get a little dialogue at the bottom here telling us what stage it's at. I'm going to stop the recording now, and as soon as I notice that the screen's changing, I'm going to stop the stopwatch so we know how long this took to install. Okay, here we are on our freshly installed desktop. So the installation took 8 minutes and 20 seconds exactly.